I think we can all agree in the world of Invincible or the universe of Invincible, Viltrumites are brutal. They are brutal. They have this aura to them. They're bloodlusted. They have all these aspects that really prove that they are terrifying. But there's one person, yes, one person that I truly believe that has been shown in the animated series of Invincible so far that proves how terrifying Viltrumites truly are. Yes, I know. We've had many Viltrumites show up on the series of Invincible. We've had Omni-Man. Obviously, we have the half Viltrumite in Mark Grayson, or, well, Invincible himself. Then we have Anissa. We have the Viltrumites who showed up on Thraxon, the Viltrumites from the prison, and also, well, there's one Viltrumite that ends up showing up on the planet of Earth, and that would be Conquest. Conquest, one of the most powerful and ruthless Viltrumites in Invincible, and straight up, he exemplifies exactly why the Viltrumite race is one of, if not the most terrifying threats in the universe. Hands down, one of the most terrifying threats ever. And the reason why I point out Conquest specifically is for various reasons. Now, let's start with the idea of Omni-Man. Why am I not talking about Omni-Man necessarily? Well, for starters, Omni-Man, yes, he is a terrifying foe, and he does some terrifying things. But he went through basically a 17-year kind of plan to basically have a child with a human to make Mark or make Invincible. And he went through all of these different things that, well, for one, someone like Conquest doesn't like doing. He said it himself. There's very few times that the Viltrumite Empire tells him that he has no restrictions, that he has no mission. All the mission is to solely control Earth and get control over Earth. And Conquest, he's not there to talk, he's there to throw hands. He's there to tear you to absolute pieces. And that's just one aspect that makes him, or proves that really the Viltrumites are that terrifying. Now, there's different aspects of different Viltrumites that come to the fray, but the two people that I really want to talk about was first, obviously, Omni-Man, with how he approached things and how he just ended up approaching things at the end of it too, being that he becomes a better person. He goes to prison over it and stuff like that. But the second person is Anissa. I'm not saying Anissa is a good person. I'm not saying Anissa is some friendly version of a Viltrumite, because she's not. We know what happens in the comics. We know what she does. We know what she does in the animated series. But the Viltrumite, other known as Anissa, was basically shown to be kind of like a mediator. In a way, a mediator with Mark, trying to explain to him that she was basically trying to help him, that she was trying to show him the error of his ways, not by brutally beating him senseless, like she even said herself that she didn't want to actually fight Mark, but trying to show him that the Viltrumite Empire would have basically took away all sense of danger from his world. And Anissa, like I said, was very mediator-like. She was trying to get him to understand, trying to get him to basically surrender and tell him, like, look, you can basically be part of this Viltrum Empire. You can be your father's son. You can do this, and your planet will never be under attack, and you'll always be able to deal with every attack that ever comes. That's her version of it, right? And I could go through every Viltrumite that we have seen and how they approach things, how they're told, or they're basically going to approach things. We have different approaches from Omni-Man, different approaches from people like Anissa, but Conquest, on the other hand, was scary, is terrifying, because the fact is, Conquest shows that the Viltrumites, if they don't get what they want, they will make sure that they do whatever it takes to get exactly what they desire, because Conquest doesn't even have a name. All he has is a purpose, and that is why he is so scary. Conquest, he is sheer brutality, and on top of the fact that he has a vast number of experiences It shows that throughout the entirety of all the years he was living, he not only was a brutal Viltrumite, he is an elder of a Viltrumite that is among of the highest ranks, has survived countless battles across millennia, but on top of that has scars, has horrible injuries, a missing eye, a missing arm, and on top of that even survived, well, spoiler alert, the Scourge virus. I'm not sure, I honestly don't remember if that was talked about in the animated series, but he survived the Scourge virus. Yeah, it's pretty freaking insane to think about that this creature, this person, not only is he proof, living proof, that Viltrumites can be that terrifying, he's living proof that Viltrumites could be all like him if they so chose to do so, if they were, focused enough, if they were really about the mission enough, if they pushed hard enough. We could have a ton of different versions of Conquest on our hands. And that's what makes Conquest so terrifying, in my opinion, and what makes really the Viltrumites so terrifying. Because Conquest was the end-all be-all, at least in the eyes of the Viltrumites for now. He was the end-all be-all in terms of they send him when things need to get done. Even Anissa, someone who was stronger than Mark at that point, and probably is still stronger than Mark, was telling him that somebody 10 times worse is going to come. That somebody way worse than her, somebody who's not there to talk, and somebody who isn't going to be here all, nice and basically trying to convince you to basically turn over a new leaf and become part of the Viltrum Empire. This person, he wants to fight. This person wants you to resist. And that's why Conquest is so terrifying. That's why he is proof, living proof, that Viltrumites are that terrifying. Because when he got there, when he was there in front of Mark, he was basically telling him that he has arrived, that to be ready for his arrival. And he is so insane. He is so ridiculously insane. He lets Mark basically land blow after blow on him. And then he tells him, like, you know what? Let's start taking this seriously now. I'm going to start taking this seriously. I was just playing with you, messing with you, acting on as if you were a new toy. Like, dude, are you kidding me? A new toy. We're talking about a Mark who has gone through 90 days of training and supposedly has gotten vastly stronger, and still Conquest was on a different freaking level. And it took some crazy strides for Mark to even be able to win the fight. It took Adam Eve just absolutely destroying her blocker after basically almost dying, and basically blasting Conquest insanely, or with an insane amount of power, to even give Mark an upper hand that could possibly make him win, or possibly allow him to win. Mark had his limbs shattered, broken into pieces, and frankly enough, well, Conquest could have won at any time if he decided to do so. Now, that's a video for a different day, because that's not exactly what we're talking about right now. But he really is proof that Viltrumites are that terrifying. He not only is just showing sheer brutality, the experience, or how scary experience is on a Viltrumite. He's not only showing this unrelenting bloodlust, this durability beyond even reason itself. This guy is a freak of nature, but he also shows this psychological warfare, even if he doesn't mean to at the end of the day. Conquest doesn't just break his enemies physically, he breaks them mentally. He taunts Invincible, pushing him into a feat of rage, knowing that Mark's inexperience would make him reckless, and he would mess with his mind. Basically telling Mark that he had no chance in the first place, that he was going to mess with him, he was going to throw him around, he was going to beat him senseless, and he would easily shrug off so many of the injuries that Mark was trying to inflict him with. This psychological warfare, this taunting, this instilling fear within Mark is a different version of a Viltrumite that we have ever seen. And frankly, even with those who we have seen Mark fight, from his father to other Viltrumites on Thraxia, on the prison, all of these things, none of these Viltrumites are on the level of Conquest. But it shows the proof of what Viltrumites could truly be, just like Conquest. I know Conquest is one and only, he is that dude, and he is that powerful, and he is insane, but he is a symbol of this Viltrumite supremacy. Conquest represents the purest form of what the Viltrumite Empire can truly stand for. Domination, absolute domination, survival of the fittest, and unbreakable will. If Conquest, an individual Viltrumite, is that powerful, it truly demonstrates why the race is feared across the entirety of the universe. This Viltrumite, Conquest, he's so powerful that even Viltrumites scare him, or even Viltrumites are scared of him, These Viltrumites, well, he even admitted himself that he's lonely. Something is, by the way, is freaking freaky. He says it, that he's lonely, that none of the other Viltrumites talk to him. They're afraid of him. None of them want to be his friend because they're terrified of him. They think he's unstable. Now, this is pretty damn crazy. If the Viltrumites themselves think Conquest is unstable, then where's the level of the Viltrumites we're talking about, right? We know that there is someone technically above Conquest, and there probably has been potential of people being above Conquest. So the fact that there are other Viltrumites that are terrified of him, other Viltrumites that think he's unstable, well, doesn't that mean that the Viltrumite Empire has this unrelenting, has this kind of hidden potential, even kind of numerous amounts of potential that could lead to you having people just like Conquest in the Viltrumite Empire? Like, that right there is something that is truly, truly scary. And what's truly even more terrifying is that Conquest even admits it from the very beginning, that he normally comes here with a mission, that he's normally told by the Viltrumite Empire that he is given a mission. So yes, it does show like that the Viltrumites have an extent of kind of, holding back, trying to get people to enter the Viltrumite Empire without, destroying everything, because they want to, benefit from it. They want to benefit from their planets. But this version, this right here, is different. Conquest is told that there is no mission, that he is to basically take over Earth by all means, any means necessary, no matter what. Whoever's there to stop you, don't let him stop you. Whoever's there to hurt you, whoever's there to kill you, don't let them kill you. And Conquest himself is a terrifying, terrifying being, and continues to prove that the sheer brutality, the experience of a Viltrumite like this, the bloodlust, the durability, the psychological warfare, the symbol of the supremacy of the Viltrumites, Conquest is living proof, and proves how terrifying Viltrumites can be and truly are. Yes, there are some, like I said, who are mediators-esque mediators, right? Follow a mission, like living 17 years to basically have a child and do this and do that. Yes, they do. There are those type of Viltrumites. But then you have Conquest, who is sent to the people and to the planets that refuse to basically lend their strength to the Viltrumite Empire, to refuse to basically stop resisting. And Conquest is sent to those planets with only one mission: make them immediately stop resisting. Make them surrender at all costs. And that right there is proof that flat out, not only is Conquest terrifying, but the Viltrumites themselves are terrifying. And what makes it even more scary is that Conquest himself, he says it, that he doesn't even have a name, only a mission, only a purpose. That's why they call him Conquest. You can take it how you want it. Maybe he's lived so long that those Viltrumites don't even know the name he once was called by. But all they know now is that he truly exemplifies what the Viltrumite Empire is trying to do, and that is to conquer and conquest the entirety of the entire universe. That is what the Viltrumite Empire wants to do, and Conquest is just proof of how terrifying they can truly be. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Conquest, about the Viltrumites, about anything else. And I will say this: if you're gonna spoil stuff in the comment section, because I honestly don't mind you guys spoiling, just because I've read most of the comics. I have to really catch up a little bit more and just make sure I'm all there, because I don't remember everything that happens. But I would love to hear you guys comment about the comics, maybe other examples of this, other examples of Viltrumites. But make sure, please, make sure to put a spoiler warning like at the top. Put like spoiler and then put like, a little bit space in between so that nobody gets spoiled. I will be looking at them, of course, but anybody who wants to be spoiled, they can look at it. Just make sure to do a little bit of spoiler warnings. I appreciate it. Now, with all that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a sub, all that good stuff. And with all that said, if you enjoyed this video, YouTube believes you'll like this one, so might as well go check it out.